the stuff you got to do before you leave the house, you know?
Got a little bit longer. I've got two fur dogs, fur babies.
Oh. Much
probably wake you up as early as my kid too. So
yeah. Right on. Well, let me kick it off, and then we'll be able to reuse this later. So, everyone, first of all, I'm very excited, and of course, I am driving because of how busy my life is. But I will be at the shop very soon. But I couldn't be more excited with my two buddies that we have spent very minimal time together with, in person, but a lot of time, phone conversations, other podcasts that we've done. And I couldn't think of two better guys to represent the state of Texas when we come out there, because it's just going to be, the ABCA, the Annual Baseball Coaches Association Convention, is one of the coolest things, depending on which door you go in, and if you get lost in some different type of events in there. But the real meat and potatoes of what that event is all of the best baseball minds from all the levels, college, pro, the private world, youth, companies, everybody coming together and just sharing information, even from displaying new products, which is my favorite part, to having some updated coaching cues and showing some of the college guys, or college guys showing some of their systems that they've worked with. You guys have been there too. For the people that don't know what it is at home, how do you describe it? Because I describe it a certain way, and I'll go last because I'm the most passionate about it.
Yeah. I'll kind of kick it off. I think it's, like you said, it's a meeting of the minds in a lot. There's different little pockets. I would say there's the guys that are really focused on development. There's the travel team guys there. There's the guys that are there just to look at the tech stuff. And then there's guys that are, there to network and, make better relationships within the game. And if we're able to make better relationships within the game, we're going to all be able to help our baseball community and help everybody. I think there's a lot of butting of heads right now, and especially on the hitting training side. I think it'd be great when we can all kind of get together and hash some of the stuff out face to face instead of behind the keyboards, in a very constructive setting. So I think just being able to have a generalized location for everybody is super important for that. And then to not to spin too much off and talk about it, but I think a lot of the really cool stuff happens actually like behind the scenes. When hey, the meetings are all shut, or the trade show is shut down at 7:00 or whatever, like, where are we going right now? Let's go have dinner. Let's go get to talk about baseball, when we're not in the mindset of like, hey, I have 4 guys coming in this hour, I've got another 6 coming in here, and we're all just slammed into the training world. We actually get to kind of relax and just talk about what our passions are and really hash that stuff out. So that's what I'm so excited about. It's just a lot of the behind the scenes relationship and networking stuff.
Cameron.
Beautiful. That was beautiful, man.
I know, right? Yes. I like how you tried to be nice too. It's very political, that answer. Constructive. Like there's not going to be fisticuffs thrown.
There might be. Well, I'm not sure who all is going to be there, but yeah, we'll figure that one out down the line.
Well, at least in our live AB mode, I hope we get some guys with some nice attitudes. I'd enjoy a nice motivational situation,
Yeah, constructive criticism and but yeah, ABCA is kind of cool for me because playing in the minor leagues and independent ball for 10 years. I sold wood bats. Helped my buddy at Plate Crate. I think the flag's right there. Go to some of the shows and run the booth and all that stuff. So it's always been it's just always been kind of like a headquarters for the year. Like what's going on this year? Like am I going to ABCA still as a player? And I'm trying to maybe meet some new hitting coaches I can talk to and I can learn personally myself. But now as a facility owner running the select program, to me, it's like teaching our players fundamentals, right? We all have these things that we believe in, and you can go down the rabbit hole on Twitter or X or Threads or whatever it is, and there's always something new coming out. What I like, about listening to some of the speakers and things like that is it's a constant reminder of the things that you're probably already doing, but getting it reinforced by a big league club or, by someone you respect, I think is really cool. And it was something that I've always tried to do just in my personal life. right? Like, the three of us, we're all friends, but we don't talk every week. And I think that those types of conversations, like when you have a conversation with someone you've either never met before or you don't talk to a ton, I think it's much easier to talk about your big picture goals and dreams and the stuff you want to do and the stuff you're excited about versus this person you see in your day-to-day life where they're like, oh, whatever, you're not going to the gym, you haven't gone in a week, right? But I can tell you guys, that I've got certain goals and expectations and plans for 2024, and that excites me individually.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm in on all of that on both of you guys too. I think this is my 5th year going to it. And both of you two, we've had good conversations. We've seen, other people there. I really like the theories that come out, whether you're sitting in a booth and listening to Eugene go off, or, the guy at the farm system, or Driveline, or, just all of the stuff there is just, from the digital world to real life, and you get to talk to the experts, just like you're saying. That's definitely one of my parts. That's also why, I love going in. So selfishly, I love to go test my own theories, especially when I travel to a different part of the country and throw against hitters to see if, does these theories and ideas that I think are correct work? And so the fun part about you two having hitters that hopefully will come to our live AB event will be, I'm sure, just like we know, you're going to let somebody know a little bit, hey, he's got a little bit of cutter guy, cutter's good, you got to pay attention, and being able to, unemotionally battle with people, which is something we do over here. I don't see that very much on the internet. Like, the amount of skeletons and what I call fake baseball with the bullpen All-Americans and the front toss leaders, like that, none of those things play when you got a dude on the bump that's trying to strike you out. And I know that. Dustin and I played, and I know Cameron, I watched you play. Like, I know where Dustin and I didn't face each other, but we were in the same league at the same time, just on different parts of the country in Mexico,
Yeah, man. And I think one of the biggest things that we get, like you talked about the front toss, front toss hero, or, the bullpen, whatever you want to call them. I think the biggest thing that we get away from a lot of is like, hey, those are the things that are easy to highlight on social media that everybody likes. They get likes, like, oh, this dude PR, this dude spin race this guy's fastball velo is this, his exit velo is this. It's like, great, it doesn't matter. What do you do for me in the game, right? Like, what happens when the lights turn on? If the lights turn on and you rake, that's all that matters. I could have a guy that has a max exit velo of 90, right? But if he hits line drive after line drive after line drive and finds the grass in the outfield and gets more hits and he helps his team win, it doesn't matter. I could have a kid hit 100 miles an hour, off the freaking tee in the cage, but if you can't make contact in the game, nobody cares about you because you're a 5 o'clock hitter. So, that's what kind of gets me fired up about being able to do a lot of the live stuff. Is it's like, all right, cool, we put all this work in, now let's see what comes to fruition. Or we can test what works. If it works, if it doesn't, change our approach, go about it. And it's like, let's go and compete. And guess what? None of these go on the back of the baseball card anyway. So this is a chance for all of us to get better in a, like, quote unquote safe space, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, it doesn't, you don't have a jersey on, you're in shorts and a t-shirt and you're ready to rock. So yeah, I'm freaking pumped for live at bat stuff, man. We started doing more of that down here too, especially in the winter. We've got our college guys back in town, so we're running like weekend lives right now, and it's crazy seeing these hitters. Like, some of my hitters, like, I'm like, yo, this doesn't work. Like, fix it. Like,
That's right.
like,
Definitely, you gotta. What's real? That's what we. My hitting guy over here, Brad Berto, is probably one of the toughest outs in San Diego. But he and I have and of course we have TrackMan. So on the TrackMan itself, we have over 250 at bats. But like total, it's like 500. So like, this dude is always like locked in on timing. And when he's going to compete for a job, which I got to talk to Dustin about that, we got to get him a job.
Yeah.
He's an interesting archetype, and that's where, like, of all the skeleton, the mechanical breakdowns, whatever you want, like, both of you two are big dudes, right? Right-handed, Cam, outfield, right?
Yeah.
Right? So, like, you can take some of these archetypes of these hitters and analyze them, think about their positions, where they're from. Like, there's a whole pedigree on analysis pre-pitch that if you knew country origin, who taught him, what height, that whole thing, then you can really understand what is possible. You know, how guys are going to play the game. You know, and you see it in tennis and golf where, you know, the French talk about certain things and they have more an advantage on, you know, a clay court. And there's, you know, there's all kinds of stuff that really affect the quality of the game. I mean, one of the things that, you know, in American, you feel like sometimes you're making excuses, but you're not. But I remember and feeling like the ball was bigger and they were more slick, and I couldn't figure out why the ball was moving the way it was, and yet you come to find out later that, like, you're in elevation, you know, this is why sticky was developed down there, because if you're in elevation, the ball doesn't move the same, you know, and so it's an interesting thing, you know, Cali to Dallas, I'm already wondering about the humidity and how the ball's going to feel in my hand compared to over here. You know, in Florida, where I'm from, the ball feels completely different, but I feel like it directly affects how the ball flies in different parts of the country. So
Yeah,
that's fun.
I mean, I think Dustin talked about something just a second ago that I think is kind of important to mention. You know, I think it's part of the reason why we're excited about the event coming up, right? Is, you know, a lot of the things that's getting a lot of highlight, right? Obviously, Patrick Mahomes being an elite quarterback, and he's getting a lot of, him and a couple other guys getting a lot of credit for like the sidearm throws and things like that. And they're talking about, like, the reality is he trains those things, right? And that's not your prototypical quarterback in the pocket, you know, jump and throw. But, like, I think that's a place that we're trying to come from is, hey, this is a unique opportunity. Dustin might say one thing to one of my hitters that unlocks something, right? And I know that that's a real thing. And so just trying to help hitters, help pitchers add tools to their toolkit so that, you know, when that situation comes up 3 months down the line or whatever it is, you know, they face a cutter guy in their high school playoff that's supposed to be really great in the state of Texas, but all of a sudden, hey, I took 3 at bats off of this guy, and he struck me out twice, and then the third at bat I put one in play, and that's what I'm going to build off of. And I think that's kind of something cool to look forward to.
Yeah, it's a build off of the, you know, having multiple brains there. All that we get to do is put more tools in the shed. Like, in your head, we could say the same. We could be on the same point, talking about the exact same thing, but we say it a little bit differently, and all of a sudden, it's an unlock. I was sitting down with my hitters the other day. A couple of my college guys were in, and one of my hitters was crazy falling on his front side. Well, my college kid, who I've trained for the last 4 years, is like, says something to my high school kid that I've also had for the last 4 years, and all of a sudden it clicks. I'm like, bro, we're speaking from the same place. Like, I don't understand why that. He goes, you never said it like that. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, you know, swallow the pride and be like, as long as it works, I don't care. So, like, get around my guys. I just want my guys around good people that have an understanding of the game and truly care about them. And, like, hey, if it works, great. If it doesn't, okay, guess what? That's still in your brain, and that could still help, whether it helps you down the line, where it's like you go back to that, and maybe, like, that tool's in the head, and you're like, all right, let me grab that one out and let's revisit that one. Great. But, like, or you can get to help another player. Like, you just have more, you know, more mentality, more stuff to think about, more stuff to pull from. So that's what I'm excited about. And I mean, I'm sure on the pitching side as well, like, just with, like, little nuances, man. Pitching is whatever. If you miss by a degree of release, you miss by like 6 feet, something like that. So, like, think about how precise we have to be with all those little things. And if all we need to do is, you know, hammer in the brain a little bit, and we'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm very excited about, you know, game theory is something that I feel like is just not addressed in baseball.
Yeah.
You know, the probabilities at the youth game are, you know, worse than rock, paper, scissors, because most people are 2-pitch guys, even though they have 3 pitches, but the way they go about their business and how they pitch, and or even worse, when you have an adult calling pitches and there's no personality behind the game, you have a whole different process. You know, and I mean, we see it even in our organization, and with Cam, I'm excited to you know, see some of your guys, talk to some of your guys, see how your practices go, because I know what happens over here, and we are Wu-Tang over here in San Diego, because, you know, we work on separate things, and, you know, everybody on our teams pitch, which is, I feel like, is a very underrated thing, you know, inside of the travel ball world, where you have, you have an issue of, I want to use an aggressive word by abuse, but like just mismanaged, like understanding of like what development is. I mean, we have something where even though, unfortunately with the quality of baseball, you kind of got to play in some of these tournaments, but we don't start the same pitcher back-to-back weeks. Like if you start on Saturday, you don't start the next Saturday. You start on Sunday, you don't start the next Sunday. It's a rotational thing that I feel like you can get a little bit more. And I'm crazy when it comes to volume. I've just seen too many crazy, especially with myself. It's hard for me to really believe a 50 pitch limit when I know that I've trained this kid and we've been throwing more than 50 pitch bullpens. And so there is a lifetime way to treat throwing. And I'm just over here trying to do the same thing that I saw the Dominican and Cubans and Venezuelans do, when I was playing. And so teaching that at a younger age and, how to go about a lifetime throwing motion and a lifetime of, throwing arm care is, it's important. And that message is something that I want to bring over to you guys. And even with, there's some secret sauce stuff that, I'm sure hopefully you guys pick up from me and I pick up from you. And that's kind of what the focus of the clinic is not only, do we get to hear ourselves be in our space and what our expert is, but, collaborating on some of these ideas, putting these things, on the table, running them. I mean, I'm sure you're going to have, at least for the way I think, when we get to live, we're going to have guys that we can even do situations in, or, because to me, it's about executing under, it's about executing under duress in, inside of the strategy of the game, and so the process.
What was the reason, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like, especially live at bats, someone winning, someone losing, and then if you're the loser on that, what was the reason?
Yeah, and how do we get better? How do we get better the next time from it, or what do we do to? It's a constant chess game.
100%. Couldn't agree more. That's where it's been fun, especially the Mexico side exposed to me a whole different process where they weren't playing the same game that we grew up with, right? Dustin, like, I couldn't tell you how many times the first pitch of the game I saw a splitter, and I was like, oh,
we're doing it like that today. Okay.
Yeah, that's just all right. Cool. We're on the same team, and that's what you're doing. That is what it is. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy over here. We got car alarms going off. I haven't even showed you guys. Have you guys seen the videos in the new shop? I mean,
of course.
Yeah,
Hammering them home.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been real fun. Yeah, we already got the guys in here getting after it. The pro guys are in here. But yeah, I mean, setups, I'm really excited to see how you guys are running your setups, what you're running the business side. It's always a fun thing to get around the other baseball minds in the area and just like compare notes, and see what are the things that any one of us can say. I take away so much every year, and even then it comes out of left field too. I have a funny little story where we, obviously we are a marketing machine and we try to go after companies. And I had a conversation with Spinball last year. Shout out to Sam, the VP of the company. And it was just funny because like, he just looked at me and he was across from the ATEC deck. And I just saw him staring at this video screen. I don't know if you remember it, but like ATEC just like put a commercial on like a 50-inch screen and just pointed it at Spinball, like right across the walkway. And I was like, oh man, that's aggressive. And I looked at him and I was like, hey, you want one of those? And he's like, can you do that? And like just right there on my phone in the thing, I just did a little video thing, boom, showed it to him, 20 seconds. And he was like, that's crazy. And I'm like, thanks. And then I didn't hear from him for like 6 months, dude. For like 6 months, I didn't hear from him. He calls me up in June. He's like, hey, we talked about doing a deal. You want to do a deal? I'm like, yeah, great. I literally I was the only time I talked to you. I handed you my card. I'm so happy that worked out. So, I'm excited about little things like that too, because you just never know. I mean, I'm just going to be sitting there with my lollipop, my backpack, and my balloons so nobody loses me walking around that place,
We'll make sure to tie one to the belt loop on your back.
Yeah. Where's John go? There he is.
But man, dude, I'm pumped about this. Get out of my comfort zone a little bit too. We've been, we're in the day to day, but it's, whenever we can jump into a new group with a new group of people, and kind of introduce our principles and kind of what we're thinking about on a day-to-day basis, but with our, in the comfort of our own home or our own facilities. That's great and all, but like, let's get outside of the box a little bit, test it. And, maybe we learn a little bit of something that we can bring back to our own guys. I shouldn't say maybe, because it's absolutely going to happen.
Yeah, there's going to be one of us is going to say something crazy, and we're going to, like, just like Cam's over there taking notes right now. Hey, can you send me a photo of that tablet that you got right there, just to make sure that we need a stenographer. There's, too much stuff going on over here. Somebody get some AI to get some captions in so we can get a
Right.
script from what we said.
Right.
All right. Well,
Yep.
let's go over the format. This is really what we wanted to do. Cam, why don't you lead off with, the structure of what we're trying to do, and then maybe we can all comment, on our pieces. That way, everybody understands what we're trying to bring to the table, especially since you're hosting. I'm so grateful that you're willing to let, a hippo come in and wreck around your shop a little bit,
I hope we got enough space in here. It's going to be a pretty sweet event. So I guess how we're laying it out, we got the youth guys going in the morning. Here in the area, the kids are out of school, so giving those guys a chance to get out of bed and get moving around, and John's going to head up the pitching stuff. Dustin's going to head up the hitting stuff, and we're going to go back to back: youth pitching, and then youth hitting, and then advanced or high school pitching and high school hitting stuff, and cap it all off with some live at bats. That's where the constructive conversations are going to come into play. So, I know that it's going to be jam packed with information, and I look at these types of clinics, like when I'm doing them, it's the last time I'm ever going to see someone, right? So like in my coaching brain, I'm like thinking, okay, I've got 1 hour with this kid. I'm never going to see him again. I've had these lessons before, right? Where kids coming in town for the super duper NIT USSSA, best.
I already have one. I write that one down. Super duper NIT. That is my favorite name of any tournament I have ever seen.
This kid's from California, right? And he's like, I've really been struggling. And it's like, okay, well, I know I'm never going to see you again. So, I'm going to focus on the stuff that I know is the truth, and the stuff that I know that I super believe in. And I know that, these things are going to help you. And I know we're going to try to cram all of our truths into one little space here, and share with the kiddos and the high school kids that are trying to break into college, and it's going to be a fun time.
Dustin, you want to talk about your section of the what do you bring into the table? What do you bring in? You're bringing nukes, right?
Yeah.
I'm already upset about it, because we're assuming that nukes are going to happen in live OBs. I'm already upset.
Oh, I sure as hell hope so. That's part of my job, right?
Yeah.
It's no. So we're going to kind of bring it together. Really give some baseline stuff that everybody's going to be able to take away from. We'll go through. I'm going to be shooting some like basic concept drill video stuff too for the guys to take home. Throw it in a little Google Drive just for them to have just as a takeaway. From everything happens really fast, especially in a camp setting. So a lot of times you get out and you're like, yeah, that was fun, but like, cool, like what do we do now? So being able to bring that where let's go after the fact, this is what we were doing, this is why we did these drills, or whatever it may be, for that specific player. That's something that I want to be able to bring to it, and then just help guys create a plan for themselves. When we, like you said, when we only maybe see these guys one time, or maybe we run them down to Austin too. Cam, we'll figure something out down the. But if we're only going to see them one time, it's like, all right, like what little piece of information can I give you that's going to help you regardless, right? This like a normal hitting lesson, it's not the same. It's not the same thing. I always look at my job as I'm trying to make players be the best hitting coach that they can be, for themselves. I want them to be their best hitting coach. I'm not there with them 100% of the time, physically. I can't, hey, this is what the pitcher's doing. This is what he's trying to do. This is what your swing's doing. Like, how do we put that all together? So trying to give guys some stuff to really take home to put into put into their brains and be able to get that with them into game setting and a practice setting, and just try to help guys be their own best coach as well.
Yeah, I agree. You know, that was a good idea. The plan. There was something that I brought up to a parent the other day that kind of struck a chord right there, where they were asking about, you know, hey, should I go to this college camp? You know, and I said, well, you're going to go there for 2.5 hours and you're never going to see him again. You know, so I understand you're going to fill the time. He should have a great experience. I did the same thing, you know, but you know, that should be into the basis of creating good habits and good, you know, good routines that, you know, people don't understand what the word everyday means. You know, like, what do you mean every day? Well, I mean, I hit off the tee in my backyard every day growing up. Like, my mom was a teacher. I was always, I knew that I had 20 minutes before we had to leave to get in the car and head to school with my mom. And I would just go in the backyard and hit off the tee every day. And it directly affected me being a semi-decent high school hitter, you know, but obviously I was better at throwing from there. But that, you know, that is one of the things where I say, like, lifetime career throwing motions and stuff there. It was like, look, I was told there's only limited bullets, and I'm 37, and last Friday, 4 days ago, I threw 135 pitches straight, started at 88 and ended up at 84. Not bad. Now, I'm doing a different thing because I'm a sparring partner for college and pro hitters, because they're trying to see a little bit high level stuff. Because even at youth age, right? Like, I had a parent complain to me the other day that we went and did a tournament, and of course, the kid did not get a hit or get on base, and it wasn't his fault because he got walked all 12 times. You know what I mean? And so the process of being able to tell a story and be competitively live is just based on what game is in front of you. You know, if you got a guy ripping heaters and filling up the zone and throwing strikes, then everybody can kind of win from that advantage, you know. But we all know what happens in some of these travel ball things where you get that far and all of a sudden nobody starts throwing strikes, you know. And so the game changes completely. And even then, in a live AB setting, that can happen too. You can feel the kind of lull of the situation, but you can see where that lull also can create lack of focus, and a guy will top a ball or roll over or pop up and then ruin it, you know, ruin the whole process of what that expansion was inside of what they were trying to learn, you know. So, you know, I'm really pumped and excited. Like, I think we're all on the same page. That's why I called all you guys. It was a no-brainer. I was like, this is what we're. Matter of fact, I remember last year in Nashville camp, I dropped it on you. I was like, hey, we're doing this, right? I already did it. This, you know, I did it with our guys at the Hip Lab. It went great. You know, I'm you know, obviously, shout out Spirit Airlines, doesn't lose my bag, and we lose a full day of clinic. But, you know, Cam, that's why we learn. We fly in the day before. That way we don't have any issues. You know, you're just learning. It's always, you know.
And maybe you could stop flying Spirit.
Well, hey, in one leg, see, we would have been fine. Somehow from San Diego to Vegas, you lose our stuff in one leg. How do we go one leg and then we get messages on our phone that you lost our stuff? Like, I'm so confused at how does that happen? How do you go from one place to another? What, do they just not make it on? Oh, we don't know at all. Okay, cool. And Spirit's customer service is the best. I hope everybody understands that. A year later, we still don't have our government mandatory paybacks for losing our bags. So that's awesome. So if anybody's wondering about that process, that doesn't work. Go figure, huh?
Go ahead, tag them in this thread if we can get them on here and respond.
Yeah, for sure. And of course there's, like, you know, limited edition like Lulus that I did as like gear like this for guys at the shop, and like all of those were in my bag and they're gone. And now, like, I just show up to work every day and they're wearing them here and they're like, hey, nice shirt. I'm like, thanks, appreciate it. That was great. Remember that I'll never fly Spirit ever again. So
well, good deal, guys. I mean, we need to do this again. I would say to kind of close this, my last piece of why I think this was just kind of something that was meant to be. John, you reached out to me and you're like, yo, we need to do something. And I was like, absolutely, all in. Let me call my guy up in Arlington and get it set. And you're like, wait, who? And I was like, Cam. And you're like, I'm already talking to him. Hold on.
we're already there.
Like, wait. So we're like, it was already there. The pieces were already put together. The pieces there. We just had to bring it all together. So I think it's something that's meant to be. I think it's going to help us. We're going to help a lot of players out. Hopefully not just in Cam's organization, But hopefully we bring a little light to cover all bases up there in Arlington as well. And for some of the surrounding players, maybe we get to Fort Worth. Maybe we can get some of the Cleveland greats on the way up there. I know you played. I just finished up coaching there, so
Yeah.
we'll,
For a guest appearance from Hill the Thrill, we'll see.
Well, I mean, I love fresh meat. Anybody that wants to get in the box and play a little bit, I'll
Yeah.
I'll throw the pickleball paddle around back and forth, a little bit.
Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
All right,
Well,
guys. Well, thank you so much. We'll chop this up, and I'll get some more stuff out from there. I'll throw you guys a collab too. But
all right.
thanks for your time. You guys are efficient. You're absolute professionals. Absolutely nobody else out there that I would love to get some stuff up. Oh, and one more thing. That little dude, Tanner, better show up. Tanner, I'm calling you out. All right? Raised in baseball. Been
Fair.
following you for a minute. We might have an opportunity, and we're going to find out how good you are. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do.
Faced Cy Young winners before, but we'll go with we're ready to go against John too.
Yeah, hey, he can face anybody he wants. It don't matter. You don't think I got something up my sleeve? I might drop down, throw a slider, a little 3K slider from down low. Make him take a poop in the box.
Make that perfect. Hey,
Matter of fact, I'm calling it now. If he does watch this, if he doesn't see how smart he was paying attention,
Yeah.
if I get 2 strikes on him, we're for sure dropping down slider and striking him out.
There we go. We'll see if he watched all the way.
Awesome.
Guys, tuned in. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for sticking with us. Excited to get some stuff rolling up in Dallas Fort Worth area.
Definitely looking forward to it. January 3rd, pretty much all day. We'll be there. I'm sure I'll be there more than one day. Cam and I will talk about it. I'm obviously rocking the convention, but I haven't set my dinner dates yet. There's a whole process, right? I gotta reach out to everybody.
Got a cot, just
I'm excited. I'm excited about the food too. Like that's how the hippo got there. You know what I mean? I can't obviously had my Whataburger cup right there, but I can't wait for the recommendations from you guys too and where we're going. Some barbecue, there's all kinds of stuff out there.
Yeah.
Good
No doubt.
Anyway. All right, guys. Well, you have a good day. Thank you so much. Please follow all these guys. Sign up on the Cover All Bases website to get into the clinic. We'll have all the information from that. We just emailed it out for everybody, even though our network's over in San Diego. Want everybody to know we're doing cool stuff over in Texas. So thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Holler at you.
Later.